Welcome back to Rackspace Solve Hong Kong. Here once again, your host, John Engates.
On by chance? Can you? Okay, good. Welcome back. So far today, we've heard a little bit about Fanatical Support. It's our brand of legendary customer service that we're famous for. And here to talk more about Fanatical Support is a panel of our customers hosted by our marketing director for APAC, Michael Johnson. Michael, welcome.
Great. Well, good morning, and welcome back after the break. So, what is Fanatical Support? Is it a promise? Is it going to save you money? Or, as we've heard today, is it a marriage? So I'm really excited to have on stage today 3 Rackspace customers who are going to help us answer some of those questions. So first of all, we've got Josh Steimle, CEO of DWI. We've got Alan O, CTO of Dr. Power. And welcome back on stage, Guillaume from Digital Film Tree. So Josh, if we could start with you, tell us a little bit about your background and also your company and what Rackspace does for you.
Sure. So I've been here in Hong Kong for 2 years. My company, MWI, we're a digital marketing agency, and we're headquartered in the US. We're opening our Asia office here. And we've been a customer of Rackspace for, I think, going on 5 or 6 years. It's been long enough that I can't remember. And we develop a lot of websites and applications for our clients, so we also recommend Rackspace in a lot of situations. We become the de facto CTO for some of our clients who don't have any in-house technology.
Great, thanks Josh. And Alan, give us a bit of background.
Yes, Dr. Power is a Canadian-based company, and we are one of the world's leading supplier for portable batteries for all kinds of electronic device. And in Rackspace, I think more than 6 years already. And we have our own e-commerce website to serve B2B and B2C customers. Also, we have our own ERP, CRM system to share the sales inventory information in real time across different offices in Canada, United States, Hong Kong, Australia, etc.
Great, thanks Alan. And Guillaume, look, we've had a really good introduction. I think everyone has got a good idea of what you do. So if we could, let's go back in time. Give these guys a bit of context. What was life like for you before Rackspace and using Fanatical Support?
I don't even have to go back in time. For reasons that I won't discuss on this stage, we're forced to use AWS for a certain deployment for a certain studio. And so every day I live without Fanatical Support on top of AWS. I live on top of ill-documented services that I have to figure out how they work with no support. So that's still my reality to this day.
Got you. Okay. And Alan, you said 5 or 6 years. So how did you look after your hosting?
Yeah, because before 5 or 6 years, the internet age is not very mature. So we have our own server hosted in our office, and we experience many problems. The server always go up and down. We got attacked, the power, the network. So we spend a lot of time to maintain the server up and running. So after that, we move our server to those small scale, I would say low cost service provider. So things are getting better, so smoother, but the support is, I would say, horrible. So why is that? So when problems comes and I call them, they always tell me that, yeah, we reboot your servers without even diagnostics. So it is I feels like a time bomb to me. I couldn't sleep very well every night, worry about the server will go down and getting calls from office.
Cool. Okay, thanks. And Josh, give us a bit of background of hosting in the past for you.
Well, before Rackspace, we tried out just about every option that was out there, from the $5 US a month hosting packages, which are generally terrible, and all the way to doing our own hosting, where we were in a data center, we had our own servers in there. And I think it was after I had the experience of spending about 20 hours straight in a data center in a hot room, unplugging servers, taking out hard drives, going through IP tables and all sorts of stuff, trying to figure out how to get websites back online, that was the turning point to say, this is not something I should be doing. I'm trying to run a business, not trying to run a hosting company here. So that was what forced us into Rackspace's arms.
Got you. Okay. So let's dig a little bit deeper. So we're in a technology world. Things go wrong. Often people say things go wrong at the worst time, right? So what people are really interested in is what happens in your business when it goes wrong, and then what do you need? What happens next? So Alan, do you want to take?
Okay. Well, our business all relies on internet, e-commerce website. So if things goes wrong, our customer cannot order things online, and our staff cannot process orders, I think we're pretty much out of business.
Okay, wow. Okay, that sounds pretty important. And Guillaume?
Yeah, I mean, I exist in a business where the average shoot day costs between $150,000 to $200,000. So for a 12-hour day, so every minute we're down is probably, $5,000 to $10,000 of lost time, and then it just sort of ripples out through the entire process. So being down can be a multi-million-dollar problem.
Okay, and then so if that's what's going wrong, what happens when you're interacting with Rackspace?
So I can contact Rackspace anytime, day or night, and they understand what I do. They understand the application. For me, Rackspace support has a lot to do with transparency. So if I can sort of take the transparency that Rackspace gives me in terms of what's going on in a particular situation, I can pass that down to the clients. That's a tremendous value add for me in terms of containing the damage of a possible downtime.
Got you. Okay. And back to you, Alan. So you said it sounds pretty important that your hosting is available and you've got great support, but what do you get back then? What happens when you interact with Rackspace?
Well, this is a good question. I guess the truth, I think the business will really go down, and we lost our customers, and they will never come back because the confidence that they will order online and the stability is very important to us.
Got you. And we were talking earlier about an example just recently this week. You had an issue. Tell us about it.
The PayPal just recently, well, I'm sure a lot of people here using PayPal, and on September 30, they will have a new security issues that every servers need to upgrade to VeriSign G5 root certificate. And we received this email, and our CEO called me. It's like, what happened? I want to make sure our business will be online and get the payment on October 1st. So the first thing I got is call your support. And I was like, I don't know what's happening. So, Racker, please help me to solve the problem. And just within an hour, they called me back, and everything's solved, and we tested for you. Everything will be okay on October 1st.
Got you. Great. Thanks, Alan. And Josh, same question to you. What actually happens when you interact with Rackspace?
Well, a great example is one of our clients here in Hong Kong. They run an e-commerce site, and they're on AWS, and I know we're not having a session to criticize AWS necessarily here, but they're on AWS, and they came to us and they said, hey, we've got this little issue with our hosting, and we said, we can probably fix that. And about 30 hours later, it wasn't fixed, and it was a bigger problem. And then that affects our relationship with the client, because the client's website is down, they're having issues, we said we'd fix it, and it's costing us money, it's costing them money. Whereas with Rackspace, we know that when that happens with a client that we recommend Rackspace to, we can go back to the client and say, hey, we'll call Rackspace up, we'll have this fixed in a jiffy. And it's always fixed fast, and then the client loves us because Rackspace does a great job fixing these things and getting it fixed fast. So it's not costing us money, the client's happy with us, it makes us look good because Rackspace gets the job done.
Great, thank you. Okay, so we're nearing kind of the end of our time, so what I wanted to do was, it sounds like there's a kind of intangible thing. There's kind of a magic going on here. We talked to Guillaume, you talked about it being a marriage. So what is it? What's the kind of thing that surprised you about your interactions with Rackspace and using Fanatical support? What is that? And I'll come to you first, Guillaume.
I've never had an interaction with another company that made me feel like they were in the trenches with me. So, you know, especially in our business, a relatively small issue gets intensely personal very quickly. And you can sort of feel like you're adrift on a lonely sea of despair. So I've never had a partnership with a company that really felt like I could reach out to them and they were in the trenches with us and they were willing to solve the problem no matter what it took. So it's a very unique relationship that we have with Rackspace, and that was very surprising to me.
Great, thanks. Thanks, Guillaume. And Alan?
Yeah, I think it's more like a partnership marriage than a service provider. Yeah, every time I call, compared to the old service provider and Rackspace, they don't give you those prescript, back and forth support, and always deal with the problem at the first place. And I would say my account manager, Vincent, always call me time to time, give me suggestions for the upgrade, and based on what I need. I think this is fantastic.
Great, thanks, Alan. And Josh, what surprised you? What stood out?
It's kind of what Jerem from The Economist talked about this morning, that Rackspace does things that aren't Rackspace's job necessarily. I called up Rackspace once in the middle of the night. I was having issues with WordPress, a WordPress installation, and Rackspace's job is not to fix my WordPress installation, but the support guy I was talking to happened to be an expert at WordPress, and he spent an hour with me on the phone fixing my WordPress website, and that just blew me away because it would be so easy for him to say, that's not my job, or I really shouldn't be touching your website, there's a liability issue here, but he just jumped in and fixed it. And that blew me away, and that's the type of service that makes me say, I know I'm not going to get that anywhere else. That's what makes me stick with Rackspace.
Great, well, thank you very much. We're gonna wrap up the panel, and I just wanted to say that it makes a tremendous difference when we get our customers up on stage here, both to explain what Fanatical support is, but also to the rackers, because the rackers within our business really love hearing this stuff, and they go above and beyond every day, and it makes a huge difference. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.